man says snow tonight. I really hope it proves him right. I know that probably sounds a bit cliche. The carols ringing through the air, the people shopping everywhere, and someone on a one-horse open sleigh.
Hello and welcome to our 2008 VerySpatialTV holiday episode. The whole crew is here today to talk to you a little bit about things that you can do for Christmas this year.
And this year's theme is Green Christmas, so we thought we'd talk a little bit about how you can have a green Christmas in terms of your tree, your lights, getting gifts ready, and then we're going to talk about some actual green gifts. And remember, we go through these pretty quick, so if you want to have more information about anything, you can hit our show notes, and we'll have links for everything. So, one of the biggest parts of a green Christmas, of course, is the Christmas tree, because that's one of the focal points in a lot of people's Christmas setup. So we want to talk a little bit about, what you can do to make your Christmas tree setup more green. And first thing is get a live tree.
You can get a live tree. Some people think you should get a fake tree like this with LED lights that you can keep for a long, long time, and that might reduce your carbon footprint. You can also buy a live tree and plant it in the backyard. I know someone that has a whole row of trees that they've used as from every Christmas.
And some people afterwards, if you live in certain areas, can recycle Christmas trees for lots of strange things, like elephants like to eat them. You can recycle them for mulch and things like that. So there's lots of things you can do with the tree afterward if you get a live tree.
And remember, if you take all the ornaments and tinsel off, they make very good habitats during the winter time for birds and little animals.
So you can think about all that. And one last little tidbit, if you don't want to do either, you can actually get a cardboard Christmas tree. And there's a site where you can go and order it. It comes directly to you with custom decorations, so we'll leave a link for that in the show notes.
There's also the Mountain Dew Christmas tree that I'll insert.
Okay. Another thing that you can do is you can make your lights a little more green. A lot of people, get lights, and every year they pull them out and all the bulbs are blown out and things like that. There's actually sites out there. One of the more well-known is holidayleds.com, where you can actually recycle your old lights and get get a coupon for LED lights. So that's kind of one way to do it, or just switch over to LED in general.
Yeah, or also if you, not on your Christmas tree, but if you want to have candles around your house, if you're very good about making sure that you blow them out, you could have candles instead of lights. And
that they're, of course, much more green. And the lights use up a lot of power, a lot of heat, and, they're really kind of drain on energy. And finally, of course, gifts are a big part of Christmas for most people. And you can do a lot in terms of wrapping paper and things that are green solutions. So you can reuse paper. So you can take paper maybe or newspapers or things like that are around the house. You can use those. Maps are a good one. we have little people off on the side telling us all these little tricks. So maps are another way you can do it.
You can also use a reusable bag that you use over and over. That's something custom that comes from Japan, and it's,
It's pretty cool. Yeah, or they actually have fabric wrapping, so there's lots of different ways you can do it. And finally, of course, if you've got wrapping paper at the end, you want to try to recycle it if you can. Either reuse it for something else. So everybody had the grandmother that very carefully unwrap the packages, and you can do that to reuse it the next year, or try to find green ways to dispose of it.
On to the gift portion of our episode. Something that a lot of people I think overlook is that you can always make a gift. And I think that any parent on the face of the planet would almost rather have a gift made from their child, even an adult child. So some ideas for things that you could possibly hand make are things like ornaments. You can always make a nice hand ornament to put on your tree, and that's particularly good every year gift that you can show something made over years and years and years.
You can do scrapbooking if you had some maps or almanacs. You could show somewhere you've been on vacation or anything like that. If you need inspiration, you can watch the movie Elizabethtown to get an idea of pretty neat scrapbooking.
Yeah, and also something that we tend to not think about is that not everybody is geospatially orientated, and something like a nice map or aerial photography of your grandparents' house or something like that could be a wonderful gift, and it's something we all could relate to.
We've done some family trees and genealogies, and that's something that might not take you a long time, but people really enjoy getting. They think it takes a lot more time than it actually does.
Right. Now, if you're not particularly handy or don't consider yourself to be overtly, crafty like myself, something that you can also do to sort of buy green is you can look at your local sources of gifts. There are a lot of great artisans in almost every community that you can turn to for a lot of different types of gifts.
Yeah, this is the time for holiday bazaars and for Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, and everyone's out there with their homemade gifts that they're selling locally.
Right, so you can look at things like baskets or jewelry, which are obviously a joy to get for almost anybody. So check out your artisans and your local handmade gifts for sources of gifts.
On with the gifts, more gifts, Etsy, etsy.com. It's a great site you can go to where people are selling handcrafted materials. A lot of these materials are made from recycled goods. So it's a good place.
Yes,
where I buy lots of things.
We've gotten cool stuff from before, including a 6-inch high fabric doll of Jessie. We'll have to bring it in sometime. It's quite funny. Yeah.
Also, Uncommon Goods is another place they sell recycled goods. But on Etsy, they have a nice little place where you can go and look at local. So it really ties into what Barb and Frank were talking about earlier.
And another way that you can kind of be conscious and go green in terms of gifts are what they call fair trade sites. So those are sites where they go to local areas, usually in developing countries, and they get local artisans to make gifts, and they kind of sell them through a clearinghouse. Original Good is one of the websites. There are a number of them, and we'll give you a couple of links to that. But that way you're getting handcrafted, but it could be from anywhere in the world.
And there's new kind of initiatives in larger organizations. Amazon recently announced their new packaging, so if you wanted to get something that didn't have all the plastic and twist ties put together, you can order some materials, toys through Amazon that way.
Yeah, those are pretty cool, because if you've ever had to undo all those twisties, drive you batty. Another new initiative is FAO Schwartz, which a lot of people know from the fancy toy store in New York City, but they actually have a line of toys that are fairly inexpensive, around $20–25, called Earth-friendly toys. So those are pretty cool, and I've actually looked at them, and if I hadn't already got some gifts, I think I would have checked those out.
And of course, being a very technology-centric podcast and TV show and industry, we can't help but talk a little bit about some technology things that you can get involved in if you want to go green. We all like to have audio. Obviously, we're very keen on the audio issue. But you know, the thing is, the speakers are made out of a lot of products that are not necessarily earth-friendly. So if you're really concerned about that sort of thing, you go look at Echo speakers, which make a speaker that's housed in a recycled cardboard housing. It sounds great. I've actually heard one at a home show once, and they're amazingly sounding speakers. And so if it's something you're interested in, check out Echo speakers, and you can look at that for your speaker needs.
And true technology requires guns. No. True technology brings us to the concept of being able to not only deal with technologies ourselves, but share them with other people. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. One Laptop for a Child has an initiative every holiday season, or at least they did last year and this year, where you can buy one OLPC and you'll get one for yourself. So instead of sending out $200, if you get $400, you get a computer for yourself, and one goes to Africa.
Right, and so, check out a lot of these initiatives. There's also a lot of nonprofits out there designed specifically for recycling old computers. So if you have some old computers, check them out, take them to some of those companies and those nonprofits, and they can help get these into the hands of people that may not have the resources and could use a little banged up but perfectly serviceable machine.
Because not everyone's like Frank and needs to play Crisis.
Yeah, at 2560 by some ungodly resolution. So.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right, so when you're out doing your holiday shopping, then don't forget some of the things we mentioned about, if you can, think about going a little bit green, and that's all.
Yeah, green is really about taking small steps, and old fogies like us have to take even smaller steps. But of course, be sure to join us next year for our next holiday episode, and until then, happy holidays.
This year it's true. I really hope that you have too. And if you see, you'd understand. The whole world singing hand in hand. Christmas time is here again. Let the love light shine right in. Yeah. Gifts for every boy and girl. It's Christmas time.
Hello and welcome to our 2008 The Very Spatial Podcast. Okay, let me try that again.
VerySpatialTV.
TV.
And 2.